Hey, welcome everyone to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about the importance of water on your weight loss. I think it's one of the most crucial things to install into your daily routine to help you lose weight, because water is just one of those. There's certain things that when you put a certain amount of effort into them, you get a lot of extra effort back. Okay. And water is one of those things. It's not always the easiest to get yourself to drink more water, but if you do, you're going to be benefited in so many different ways. One of the biggest ways you're going to be benefited is when you use water when you feel slightly hungry. You know you've eaten enough and you're looking to kind of hold off a little bit longer. You know don't really need to eat. Water is one of your best tools you got, because one of the things that's causing you to feel hungrier is your stomach contracting. You have stretch receptors in your stomach that are tied into your hunger levels. And so as your stomach starts to shrink, you start to feel more hungry. And so you can use water as kind of a, temporary strategy to fill your stomach back up. And then all of a sudden you feel fuller. Okay. So that's one of the most kind of, acute ways that you can use water to help you lose weight, is that when you feel mildly hungry, it is something that's going to satisfy you for a little bit, because it is going to, activate those stretch receptors. So that's always helpful to deal with your hunger. The next piece is that the more water you drink, and when you're properly hydrated, your body feels more satisfied. You have to understand, for millions of years on Earth here, we ate most of our hydration because the water or the foods we ate had a way higher water content in them. And so we have evolved biologically to think of thirst a lot of times as something we eat. And so what that means now is that if you're mildly dehydrated or more, what's happening a lot of times is your body's misinterpreting that thirst signal for hunger. And so when you keep your hydration levels at the proper level, you're going to feel more satiated just in general, because you've got your hydration levels at the proper thing. And then you're just really relying on your hunger signals for food. Okay. So that's another huge way that can help you. And again, these are subtle things. I'm not saying it's going to change everything, but when you add drinking more water to your weight loss routine, again, you get a lot of benefits in a lot of different ways. That again, you can use it acutely when you feel a little bit hungry to get through that. And most importantly, your general sense of hunger and thirst are tied together. So you're going to help manage that. The next piece is that the more water you drink, it makes your body feel better. Okay. Your muscles, your joints, your cartilage is 80% water. And so drinking more water kind of lubricates your body, right? It lubricates the joints. It allows the muscles to be more supple and more comfortable. Okay. So again, it prevents, to some degree, it's protective against, muscle tightness and cramps and things like that. And it supports that, and it helps you feel better. And the better you feel physically, you tend to make better food choices, because you're, again, you got all your energy and focus, aiming at your goals, and you're not being, nagged by discomfort. So that's another one. And then finally, the big thing about water is that it helps you think more clearly. Okay. Your brain, when it's properly hydrated versus being dehydrated, operates very differently. And so when you're properly hydrated, your brain is just operating on a much more optimal level. And the more clearly you're able to think, the more aware you are of what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're doing. Bringing a higher level of awareness and cognitive ability to this process is really crucial. So again, just by focusing on water and drinking more of it, and you don't have to start drinking 8 glasses a day, by the way. You start with where you're at. If you don't drink any water, let's just get 16 ounces, 32 ounces a day into your body, And so we start to figure out how to kind of systematically increase the water, and then notice how you feel, and then again, keep getting it up to a place that feels right for you. But it's one of those things that's really going to support everything you're doing with your weight loss. So I hope this helps you out. If anyone's any questions, feel free to ask them. Kind of get into it. What's up, Joy? Hey, Jen, how's it going? Jen says, hello, Jim. Wanted to give a Halloween tip. There are lots of organizations that collect candy after Halloween for our troops, sick kids, etc. Great way to get rid of it and do good. That's a great strategy. That is a really good one. So yeah, for those of you, I will tell you what I do for Halloween. And that's a better thing than what I do. I tend to just toss this stuff out. But it's, what I do is I always give myself about a week around Halloween where I'll let myself eat Halloween candy, and then I, work to, cut it back down to pretty much zero again. So I'm a fan of interfacing with these things. Now, if you're just a super sugar addict, maybe that won't work for you, but for me, it works. But having a plan on the other side of it, this just improved my plan. So thank you, Jen, because now what I will do this year is I will eat it for a week or so, and then extra candy I will bring. I will look for places. Yeah, especially the troop thing. I have heard that. That's a good one. I will look for a better way to dispose of it than just tossing it so that someone can enjoy it. That's a great strategy. But again, when you start thinking more strategically with your weight, it makes it easier. I'll tell you that. What's up, Julie? How's it going? But that's a good one. So yeah, I hope everyone's, I know that the Halloween thing comes and it's candy in your face for 3 months because they started it really like in the middle of August now with the Halloween candy. So, it's a tough world we live in. I mean, we're constantly being, triggered and conditioned to, overeat unhealthy foods, and Halloween is at the top of the list, obviously. It's so crazy. But again, I'm not anti-candy at all. I like candy in its right place. I treat candy and sugar very much like I treat alcohol. So, again, I'm a fan. I think it's one of the things that really distinguishes me from a lot of weight loss philosophy. I'm not a big believer in abstinence when it comes to the weight loss. I don't believe that you should give up sugar forever. Not that you shouldn't. I mean, on a technical level, yeah, none of us should eat sugar. Okay, great. But now on the real level, are you going to eat sugar or not? Yeah, I'm going to eat it. Okay, well, let's manage it then. So that's kind of where I'm trying to meet you at. And I think that's a message you don't usually hear when it comes to weight loss, because with weight loss, it's all or nothing, and so you're either going to eat candy this Halloween, you're either not going to eat candy this Halloween, or you're going to eat all the candy this Halloween. We forget, well, there's a middle ground. What if I just eat a little more than I normally eat? Enjoy the best parts of it and don't go crazy with it, because a little bit of candy is all right for a little while. A lot of candy sucks. You don't feel good eating a lot of candy. Cut the shit. You know what I mean? I know you enjoy eating it, but you don't feel good afterwards, And so again, I mean, how you control your mindset and your focus is going to really control what results you end up getting. And how you think about candy, obviously, during Halloween is going to, pretty much control how much candy you eat now and beyond. I think of Halloween like that too. Like, I think what happens for a lot of people is the Halloween thing comes and they start eating candy probably in the beginning of October, all throughout October. Then they got candy into November, and now it's the second week of November, and now here comes Thanksgiving. Okay, and now here comes Halloween or holiday parties. Okay, here comes Christmas. Here comes other holidays. I'll wait till January. So, this to me, this is literally the perfect time of year to be all or something. And you got to practice that anyways, because ultimately your goal is not to lose weight, it's to live at your goal weight. And so to live at your goal weight, you need to have the ability to kind of live your life, a normal life forever. Again, you dieters, you kind of get into one diet mode and I just want to lose the weight, but you never consider what's going to happen once you get to your goal weight. You're not going to live that way forever. You don't want to, and you're not going to. So why waste your time doing something for a little bit of time, knowing that you're ultimately just going to go back to what you always did? It's so depressing. So the alternative to that is that you start creating a lifelong plan. Again, for me, I've been doing this so long, I literally have a year-long plan. So it's like when Halloween comes, I've got a strategy for it. And it's not a strategy where I don't eat any sugar. It's a strategy where I eat some sugar in a controlled way, and then I stop eating it and I go back to normal. So that works really well for me. I'm not saying that would work well for you necessarily, but what I am saying is if you figure out what does work well for you and you practice it, and you get better at it year after year, you're better off. Again, dieters it's a binary thing, right? You're either doing it 100% perfect or you're not doing it at all. And that's not real life. Real life doesn't allow for that. Real life doesn't allow for perfection. Certainly with your eating as well. Like, God, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. Again, people, I don't want to sit here and bitch about dieters all the time, but it's like, it's just, there's such a lack of awareness. I mean, talk about living in fantasy land, talk about being hypnotized, like being a dieter. It's just like, Jesus Christ, would you look at objective reality here of what's going on? Because as soon as you do, you're going to realize, oh, the dieting doesn't work. God, I hear about people talk about diets, and it's just like, it's so stupid to me that I just can't even believe it. And I can't believe the vast majority of people that's the way they think they're going to lose weight, is by dieting. Every day I think of this. And again, not to say that the diet, you'll lose weight with a diet. I'm not saying you won't lose weight with a diet. I'm not arguing with that. I'm saying you're not going to keep the weight off with a diet. No one does. 95% of people don't. And so, at some point, Jesus Christ, you're all such smart people. I don't understand. You don't take a step back and say, what's going on here? You're locked in this loop, this diet loop of like, you do it and then you stop doing, then you beat yourself up, and then you do it and you stop doing, and you beat yourself up. And it's like, you could do that literally your whole life. I've worked with people that are in their 70s and 80s. So it's like you never get to like a biological age of wisdom where you realize how stupid it is. You have to do it yourself. You have to snap yourself out of your diet trance if you have any chance in hell of living at your goal weight, in my opinion. And if you don't believe that, then bring it on. Tell me what you believe. I'd love to know. Let me know what you believe about weight loss. Because I think what you'll quickly find is that what you believe about weight loss is really insufficient. There's not a lot there. I was thinking that, like the emperor's, the emperor's clothes, right? The emperor's got no clothes, right? That whole story. It's like you got no weight loss plan. You think you know what to do. You think you got a plan, but if you really look at it, you realize there's nothing there. I have vague ideas of not eating carbs or not eating sugar or eating 1,200 calories a day. You have some vague idea what you're supposed to do, and you have no granular understanding of how to make it happen at all. That's your problem. And until you learn that piece, I mean, what would change? Why would it change? I am not the one that has to answer that because I live at my goal weight, and I'm not here to convince you of it either, because this is what I do, and I know what I know. Because there aren't too many people doing what I do. So, yeah. Cindy says, I don't want to eat candy. I had a binge a while ago on chocolate and I felt ill afterwards. Yeah. Again, I would get specific with, I don't want to eat candy. I would break that out more, meaning you do want to eat candy most likely. Like most likely you probably want to eat candy, because everything's good and bad. And I think this is helpful. So if you look at candy, you say, I like eating the candy. I don't like how I feel afterwards. I think now you're in the real world. I think the more honest you are with yourself, the better chance you have getting results you want moving forward. So you can say, I like to eat candy, but I don't like how I feel afterwards. Last time I ate chocolate, I ate too much and I felt like shit. So, because at some point you might shift that and say, I want to eat candy. Well, what do you do now? If you're just in that binary world of, I don't want to eat candy, I don't want to eat candy, I feel like shit about it. But then all of a sudden what changes in you, folks? I mean, what changes in you where you want to lose weight in the morning and all of a sudden in the afternoon, you're eating, a bunch of cookies? How does that happen? Again, there's like these core fundamental pieces of the puzzle that dieters never pay attention to. You just say, I just need to know what to do. No, you don't fucking just need to know what to do. You know what to do. Just follow your Weight Watchers plan, follow your keto plan, follow whatever your plan is. You know what to do. So what happens? What happens between me giving you the plan and you not following it? What happened there? You're the same. You have the knowledge in your head. You know what to do. Why aren't you doing it? And this, again, I think it's to the heart of why you're probably overweight if you're watching this, most likely, So, but yeah, the candy's a thing. I mean, it's addictive substance, and it's just marketed. It's not, it's just weird with the candy and just it's ultra processed foods in general, but it's so addictive, and I was thinking that today, I was like, this is the dumbest thing to say, but and I was just kind of reflecting on this. I'm like, food's the most addictive substance on the planet, and I know it's kind of what's that mean, because obviously we're addicted to food. We're addicted to breathing oxygen and water, but in its own way, food is like literally like one of the most addictive things humans are born with a natural addiction to. We never think of it that way. You know what I mean? But I think it's important to think of it that way because what's happened is we're naturally obviously addicted to food. But then what's happened is there's never been something we're addicted to that has been so customized and engineered to be even more addictive. Like the food leaves cigarettes in the dust. I mean, cigarettes, you got basically one type of cigarette, basically. You maybe menthol or different flavors a little bit, but you basically got a cigarette. But with food, I mean, there's just a million options. And so everyone's a little different, so someone might respond more to chocolate. Someone might more respond to crunchiness of certain flavor of potato chip. Okay, well, here you go. You get 6 million flavors to choose from, certain 50 crunchiness levels to choose from. Like it's just the level of intricacy of this addictive substance is beyond anything in the world. I mean, shit, even hard drugs, there's, there's one, here's this powder, here's this thing. It's still relatively, you got a couple options. And with the food, it is almost limitless, and on top of that, we're literally the most addicted to food. And so it is this battle of It's this never-ending battle that we don't even, we don't even see it. That's the thing, that the biggest reason it hides from us is it's framed differently, especially candy. I mean, candy's always framed as this childlike, fun, youthful thing. You know what I mean? And it's like, I get it, but it's like if you took, it's like if there were certain hard, like core drugs that were legalized, and all of a sudden you had companies making like, and you're seeing this, I guess, with vaping, right? Because you have a vaping thing. It's okay, that's tobacco. Actually, this is a good example of that. And now it's like you have 6,000 different flavors of vapes, that appeal to different people. But it's like that with the food times a million. It's just never ending. And we don't think of it as this addictive substance. But if you think of addictive substance that are illegal, imagine one of them was made legal, and then there were 600 different versions of it, and you could get it everywhere. And you see people giving it to their kids, and everyone's getting it, everyone loves it, and there's commercials for it, and it's available everywhere, and it's all different flavors, all different forms, and that's what we're dealing with the food. And it's this illusion, though, because you walk into a supermarket and 95% of the stuff in there is bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's fantasy land. It's all imagination, imagined, 5% was in there's actual food. And so it's this frame that we live in on top of the diet thing as well, that it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe this is where we're at. I mean, it's crazy. Us humans living on this planet for millions of years, the last 50 years, we've completely changed what we put in our bodies 100%. It's gobsmacking when you think about it. Yeah, so it says, I literally had a sugar hangover, lesson learned. Yeah, that's great. It's a great way to change your eating, is to really connect to the consequences. Ken said, yeah, losing weight is easy. I've done it 100 times. Exactly. That's exactly it, right? And I know that's a joke. I've heard that before, and I get it. And I think it's funny, and I think it's true. 95% of people that lose weight on a diet put it back on. So again, I don't know how, again, I'm at my goal weight. Like I figured this out. I help my clients do this all the time. So I'm just asking the question, if you're overweight, why do you think you're overweight? And I know your first reflexive response, I'm not sure, I don't know what to do. You should sit with that, though. You don't know what to do. That's literally the problem. You don't know what to do. And so you just do the best thing you have available, which is probably some fucking dumb diet. Again, most people are pretty, it's almost like their religion. You know what I mean? You're a Weight Watchers person, or you're a keto person. And again, it kind of changes. You know what I mean? So it's like, Weight Watchers is always evolving different shit. You know what I mean? And keto, a little paleo, and then, whatever, Atkins, paleo, keto, carnivore, you know what I mean? It's all, it's all related, and you probably got your philosophy, oh, carbs are the devil. If I'm going to lose weight, I got to get rid of carbs, or whatever you think, but what I'm trying to say is that you've got some vague idea of how you should eat, but you have no real granular, detailed understanding of how to get yourself to eat that way. You don't know how to become a person who eats that way naturally, normally, regularly. You don't know how to be a thin, healthy person. Most likely. I mean, what do you think? Yeah, again, it's not for me to answer, but it's for you to reflect on that. Jen says, I feel like food is the biggest addiction and we have to use it. Yeah. Unlike booze, drugs, etc. I agree, Jen. And that's another reason why I think that I hate Food Hacks Anonymous. Food Anonymous I hate that program. I've had like, now you got to understand, listen, does it work for some people? Yeah, of course. I get people that are outliers. Or not, I don't say that. I think it works for outliers. It rarely works well. It's a shitty strategy. And what it does is Food Anonymous it's just the same strategy that they apply to alcohol and drugs to food. And I have found my opinion of it is very low because it's so severe. And they really use a lot of that, that addiction philosophy with the food. And I'm not opposed to it with those things, but when it's with food, it's different because, like Jen just said, you have to eat food. And so I think it just leads you, I think an abstinence model with food rarely works for people. Let's just be honest. And so I like things that work. And so I found what works a lot better is when you have a more moderated approach to changing what you're eating and how you're eating. That instead of cutting sugar out, you learn to moderately interface with it. And I know some people that have sugar problems say, oh, I could never do that, John. I could never do that. I hear you. But at the same time, have you ever really strategically tried to manage and moderate your sugar consumption in a strategic way? And I know the answer is no. I know you've willpower wise tried to stop everything and it hasn't worked. So, anyways. Fred Daisy says, my trouble is you give me an inch and I take a mile. Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I was just saying. My trouble is you give me an inch and I take a mile. I get that's a problem for a lot of you. I'm not disputing that. I know that's the problem. You eat one cookie and next thing you know, the bag's gone. I get that. Okay. Why is that though? Why is that? What if I said, if you eat one cookie out of that bag tonight and put the rest of the bag back in the cabinet, can you do that? Oh, I could never do that. You give me one cookie, I eat the whole bag every time. Absolutely. You can't do it? Nope, I can't do it. I cannot do it. One cookie, I eat the whole bag. Okay. What if I said I'll give you $1 million tomorrow morning if you eat one cookie and put the rest of the bag back? Oh, yeah, I could do that. No problem. Well, you just said you couldn't. Well, I guess I can. Of course you can. You guys can do all sorts of stuff, but you've really cut yourself off from all possibilities. So I know that's an outlier example. I know it's a ridiculous example in one sense, but it's not ridiculous in another that if you truly cared, what if someone who you love, what if their life was on the line and what you had to do to save their life was to eat one cookie and put the rest of the bag back for the night? Could you do it? Yeah, absolutely. No problem. Not even hard. Easy. So what you can do and what you actually do are two totally different things, but you're conflating it all in your mind and thinking you can't do it. When in reality, you've never learned how to interface with your challenging, substances basically in a more moderated way. You've never used strategy. You've never used a mindset approach. And so you've winged it. You've winged it with your willpower and you've tried to force yourself to eat a certain way. And that doesn't work. And again, most of your behavior is driven by your subconscious programming. You have no idea how to influence your subconscious programming. You're not aware of the subconscious program that's been installed into you as a American over-consuming food addict and or as a dieter. Both of those mindsets are running the show for you most likely right now. And until you fix that, what would change? You'll continue to probably just cycle through. Again, that's my question to you. What is going to change for you to get the results you want? And I know your first response is, well, some Monday's going to come and I'm going to magically have this amazing motivation. And I know you're already planning for the Monday after Halloween now, right? Not this week, next Monday. Next Monday, I'm going to kind of kick it off. I'm going to kind of clean things up. Why would next Monday be any different than the last 20 Mondays though? And this is really, I say this to you because this is the beginning point potentially of you genuinely, truly mastering your weight, of really getting it under control. Because the first step, in my opinion, you have to realize what you've been doing isn't working, hasn't worked, and is never going to work. Because then you say, okay, I need to find a better way to go about this. And I think that's the most important thing, because I think if you keep trying to be like a dieter, you're going to keep trying to do diet things that don't work. Again, it's corny, but it's true that if you keep running east looking for a sunset, good luck. Run as fast as you want. It doesn't matter. Try as hard as you can. It doesn't matter. You're set up wrong. And you're set up wrong to live at your goal weight as a dieter. Dieting is about losing weight and getting to your goal weight as fast as possible. Weight mastery is about living at your goal weight for the rest of your life on your autopilot. Which do you want? Now, I know you even struggle with that question because you've been so conditioned to overvalue fast weight loss. But in the midst of that, you've forgotten that what you truly want is not to lose weight, it's to live at your goal weight. You've already lost weight. You've lost weight. I know at some point you've lost weight, then you put it back on. Are you glad that you lost weight, or are you upset that you put it back on? So at what point, do you make the maintenance the main focus? And again, that's something I can decide for you, but I don't know. I say this stuff out loud and it's just listen, I've been doing this for a long time. So I understand that obviously this is the world I live in, you know what I mean? But I'm asking you all what you think. So actually says, what is a strategic way to manage chocolate consumption? I'm trying to follow the glucose goddess method, which is I only eat it as dessert after a meal, not as a snack. Oh, that's a great strategy. I like that a lot. What's a strategic way to manage chocolate consumption? Well, again, dieters always want like a tip or a tactic. I just tell you something and it's going to work, but we need a holistic, comprehensive approach. I could never just tell you one thing, because everything's built on top of everything else. If you look at anything in your life you're good at, and I'll like writing, okay, you can write with your hand, but that was a long ass process. It took you years to learn how to write with your hand. First, you had to learn the alphabet. First, you had to learn letters. Then you learn the alphabet. Then you had to learn how to spell words, how to do words. Then you learn how to write each letter. Then you had to write those letters into a word, those words into a sentence into a paragraph into pages. And it took years, and you build on top of the skills that you previously learned before that. So to be honest, I think of weight mastery this way. So how do I deal with chocolate consumption? Well, how you're going to deal with chocolate consumption is going to be a lot different than how I deal with it. Why? Because I've been working on my mindset for years. I've optimized my lifestyle. I have eating structures in place that support me to be able to eat chocolate in a moderated way. So what am I going to do is give me one, again, just eat it as a dessert, not a snack. I think that's a great strategy. By the way, I love that. But will you do that? Will you do that? What's the difference between you doing that and not doing it? And I would suggest the biggest thing that's going to dictate whether you end up eating the chocolate for dessert or whether you eat it as a snack is your mood. That's what I think. If I had to pick one main thing, well, again, I think it's a lot of things, but if you want to pick the biggest things, be the difference between you eating the chocolate, excuse me. There we go. What's the biggest difference between you eating the chocolate out of control or eating in a controlled way? It ain't your fucking knowledge. It ain't you. I shouldn't do it. It's bad for me. That's not making a shit of difference, really. What's making the difference is what mood are you in? If you're calm, centered, relaxed, nourished, feeling good, yeah, you'll probably have a much higher chance of being able to eat the chocolate in a calm, moderated way. If you're stressed out, upset, depressed, angry, emotional, lonely, you're probably going to eat too much chocolate and you're going to eat it as a snack throughout the day. That's what I think. I think that's the biggest thing. So I think, just as an acute, pick one thing that's going to help you eat chocolate better. I think having more influence over your emotions, being able to calm yourself down, live as a more calm, relaxed person. That's probably the biggest thing, that's actually going to make you, that it's going to allow you to actually, follow that plan of eating it for dessert instead of a snack. But I think there's a lot more too. So Kelly, thank you so much. I got my books yesterday. Kelly sent me some books. Can't wait to read them. I'm going to read them and talk about them. I can't wait. I've been hearing about that glucose revolution, which I'm really fascinated by. I started this all talking a bit about how addictive food is. And I think specifically, and I know this may sound weird, maybe not to you. I don't know where you're all at, but I think the thing you're really addicted to is glucose. That's what I think is a real addictive thing. And no one ever describes it that way. But I think you're really addicted to glucose spikes. If you think about certain substances that people get addicted to, what they really are is concentrated, extracted forms of something that came from something natural, right? So you talk about, coca leaves, right? They extract, the coca out of them, concentrate it down to a powerful form and it's powder, right? But it's like the natural form and what people end up using, they're two worlds apart. And what's like that a lot? Sugar's like that, right? You get sugar cane or sugar beets, and you basically have to really intensely process it to get it down to this extracted concentrated form. And that concentrated extracted form has a much different effect on our body than the natural form. So if you ate a sugar beet, not that you would, but the fiber, you would get a lot less sugar and you would get a lot less slower. So there wouldn't be this spike crash of glucose that you get from eating, table sugar. It would be a much more slower increase because of the fiber is connected to it. And this comes down to pretty much food in general, that natural foods are bound to fiber. And so there's a much slower absorption of the glucose in it. Whereas now the foods you're picking, all the modern processed foods, there's no fiber in it. And so you're consuming flour or sugar or other forms of substances that could be natural even, but they spike your glucose levels. And if you think about it, like if I dropped you off in the woods, you couldn't even spike your glucose levels if you wanted to. How would you spike your glucose levels in nature? What would you do? Like you almost literally couldn't do it. You would do it a couple times in your life, maybe. You ran to a beehive or, couple random things. You found a grape, patch with a bunch of grapes growing. But it's like, it's very difficult to spike your glucose in nature. But now in the modern world, you can spike your glucose 6-7 times a day. Easy. So I think that's what people are addicted to, because that's what it is. Pretty much everything people are addicted to is an extracted, concentrated form of something, even tobacco. You know what they say the most deadly machine that humans ever made is is, and I forget what they call it now, but it's basically the kiln that they use to dry out tobacco leaves, right? Because that's what made tobacco so addictive. Tobacco used to be really harsh, so people would smoke it out of a pipe basically into their throat and mouth like a cigar almost, okay? But what happened is they started curing tobacco leaves, and what happened is the tobacco mixed with the sugar, and so it made the tobacco less harsh. And so now you smoke it and it can go into your lungs because it wasn't as harsh. And that led to, millions and millions and millions and millions of deaths. But it's not the tobacco alone. It was not you just grabbing a tobacco leaf. You see what I'm saying? It was manipulated. It was processed, extracted, and again, concentrated into this form. And so, that's what the food's like. And so we're addicted to concentrated experiences, and this is true. Animals are, it's such a weird phenomenon, but most animals prefer super normal stimuli. They did this with, I mean, it was geese or ducks, but they put a giant egg, right? So they had the normal size eggs, right? Then they put a giant egg in there, and the mom took extra good care of the giant egg. So we love super normal stimuli, and we live in a world of super normal stimuli now. And so when you apply all that to food, again, you have to make the distinction, I believe is a very helpful one, that there's real food, natural stuff that grows in the ground, fruits, vegetables, greens, beans, meat, whole grains, things that, grow and you look at them and you understand that's what it is. And you take it off and you eat it. And then there's processed foods, ultra processed foods. And you should make a distinction between the two because they're completely different for how they interact in your body. It's as different as chewing on a coca leaf, which people have done for, thousands of years. And they're not, raving, cocaine addicts, as opposed to doing the powder. They're two totally different things. So you should think of the food that way, that the food is not even food. It's this hyper processed addictive substance designed to be addictive. So, anyways, got off a little bit of a tangent there, but there it is. But anyways, yeah. So thank you, Kelly, because the glucose revolution. I can't wait to read that. And I think the more you understand glucose, and I find that to be the craziest thing out of everything, I think, is that this is my number one, probably craziest thing right after dieting, but maybe even more so, is people that are diagnosed as type 2 diabetic. And the crazy, I mean, it's exploded off the charts, the number of people that have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and or are pre-diabetic and on their way there that have no real conceptual understanding of what type 2 diabetes is and what causes it. And to understand that, you need to understand glucose. And so to me, glucose has somehow been hidden in the background of how we think about food. But if you start to think about, again, the glycemic index, right, that's what that's talking about. And I think regardless of whether you consider yourself to be pre-diabetic, type 2 diabetic or not, you really ought to reflect on that, because I think that's that's the biggest shift in our food environment, is that now we have the opportunity constantly to spike our glucose levels. And it seems to be that it's very addictive. People get really addicted to spiking them in various ways. Everyone's got their preferred method. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to what people are primarily addicted to is these glucose spikes. There's other things too, but I think that's the big one. So anyways, I'm excited to talk about that. That glucose revolution looks really right up my alley with that whole concept. And, so I can't wait to read that. Here we go. I knew it. I knew I was getting too close to the drugs and I just got restricted, but that's okay, because I'm almost out of here anyways. And I don't give a shit. So I'm not going to say what I want, but yeah. So again, it's like the food is basically, if you start thinking of processed food, now this is where you run into a little bit of problem, because you're going to hit cognitive dissonance. It's hard to think in a gray way. But if you start thinking about processed foods akin to tobacco, cocaine, heroin, in the sense that what they are is they're extracted, concentrated ingredients that are put together in a way to elicit a very addictive response in us. Buy into that or don't. That's up to you. But I think that it's there's a lot of reality to that, and I think it's helpful, to think of it that way. Ken says your hypnosis sessions have not only helped me with eating decisions, but with many aspects of my life, sleep, work, parenting, etc. That's so awesome, Ken. Yeah, super proud of you. Ken's in the program. And again, I'm going to have the hypnosis available only for you folks. So if you ever want to actually, get into the program and use hypnosis to help you reprogram your mind, think different, eat different, act different, look different, feel different, you'll have the ability to do that. Probably another couple days and I'll be there, but that's awesome, Ken. It's not unusual because again, when you calm down and relax, that's the first the first benefit of hypnosis, what I learned as a hypnotist, and this was shocking to me, and I discovered this very quickly, that I believe the most valuable piece of hypnosis is that it helps people relax. I could not believe, I guess I could believe, because I was very, very tense until I started doing this stuff. But when I started working with other people as a hypnotist, I started to realize people were really tense and they had a very low ability to relax. And so one of the most profound, powerful things that hypnosis was doing for them right away, guaranteed every time, is that it was relaxing them. And I regularly, people said, this is the most relaxed I've ever felt in my life. And I would always hear that. And I would always hear, this is as relaxed as I've been in a long time. And a lot of times people, again, most relaxed I've ever been in my life. And so what it revealed to me is that people are usually, in America anyways, it's like you're just in this chronic state of heightened stress. And when you're in a chronic state of heightened stress, it's very difficult to change your eating behaviors, because that heightened state of stress, it creates more cravings for the unhealthy foods and it reduces your ability to kind of moderate them. And so one of the most important pieces of hypnosis right off the bat is just the relaxation, the calm, the connecting to yourself, the becoming aware of what's going on inside of you, becoming more sensitive, more aware. And then there's obviously all the subconscious program that's really, really important too. Every commercial you see is a hypnosis session. So it's not like, oh, I don't know if hypnosis is going to work. It absolutely works. There's no one I've ever seen that can't be hypnotized. You don't have to be hypnotized like a goofball in a movie to be hypnotized. You're hypnotized every time you watch a TV show or a movie. It's a state of hypnosis. Do you not believe that? How do you explain? You don't even know what hypnosis is. So listen to me for a second, okay? Is that when you're watching a TV show or a movie, what are you doing? You're relaxed and calm. You're passively sitting there watching it. But what are you doing actually inside your mind and body? You're imagining you're in that scenario. So if you're watching sports, you imagine you're one of the athletes and you start releasing adrenaline in your body. Actually, you sit in your ass on the sofa eating bonbons, but you're releasing adrenaline. Why? Because you're imagining that you're in the game. If you watch a horror movie, right? You're safe in your home. You're not usually nervous, but all of a sudden you're nervous, you're tense, not breathing. Why? You're in a calm, relaxed, safe environment. Why are you not breathing? Why are you tense? Because you're imagining you're in the movie. You're imagining you're in this thing getting chased, or, your life's in danger. And what happens? Your imagination makes it real. This is why you actually fucking literally release. Thanks, Rebecca. This is why you literally release adrenaline while you're sitting your ass on the sofa. How's that possible? Think about how profound that is. Because what that means is you're in control to a high degree of how you feel physically, just by what you're doing with your mind. And you prove this to yourself every time you watch a show or a movie. Because you watch a comedy, you're laughing, you're in a good mood, you feel light. You watch a sad ass drama, you feel really sad. You might even be crying. Why are you fucking crying? Because there's light flashing in your eye and sound waves hitting your ears. And so you're crying and feel sad now? That doesn't make any sense. It's not real. So why are you crying? Right? It doesn't have to be real for it to affect you. So hypnosis is real. I'm letting you know that, folks. You don't have to believe me. I don't give a shit, but it's real. And I think that, again, I think we live in a world where, I was thinking this today, I was to go drive somewhere and I spent a lot of time thinking, but I was like, in society, we've been raised by corporations at this point, like from pillar to post, like from the day you've been born at this point, you've been raised by corporate interests, basically. And I'll tell you what, they've kept all the good information for themselves. And I'll tell you some of the best information that they got that they don't let anyone know about is how to run your mind, how you actually work. Because you're sitting there thinking you're broken. You ain't broken. You've just never learned how to actually work your mind and your body. And you, as a fucking dieter, you think, what? Oh, I just need to kick my willpower into gear. If that was the problem, you would have already gotten the results, because you got lots of willpower. Look at you. Look how you go to work every day and how you work. Look how you take care of your kids every day. You always show up for them. Look how you deal with your partner. You always show up. So it's not a willpower problem. It's that you don't understand even how to run your mind. If you did, you'd be able to explain to me why you start a diet in the morning and you are eating cookies by the afternoon, because that makes no logical sense. So how do you explain that to me? Oh, you got a willpower? Oh, I'm addicted to food. What the fuck does that mean? That's such a vague, superficial, meaningless explanation that you should be embarrassed. I'm telling you this because I know you're smart. I'm speaking to you as a very intelligent person. And there's so many areas of your life where when something doesn't make sense, you're like a fucking dog with a bone looking for an answer. So I'm trying to show you that the core things, I know you think about your weight and your body 24 hours a day, but you keep thinking about it like a fucking dieter. So I'm trying to point out, stop thinking like a fucking dieter. If you're serious, if you're remotely serious about mastering your weight, stop thinking like a dieter. It's not going to work. You not believe me? Let's debate it. Let's talk about it. Do I look nervous? Do I look like I'm worried to argue with you about, you think a diet's going to work long term? No one's, I've been doing this for over 2 years now, and I've had people bust my chops about it. They always end up saying, I'm sorry, you're right. I'm not know-it-all. I don't know everything, but I'm just telling you, come and argue with me about dieting. Tell me dieting works. And you can't, and you won't. And that's fine. That's what I want. But now I want you to take a step back and say, well, why am I not willing to argue with Jim that diets work? Why? I mean, I know the answer, and you know the answer deep down. It's because you don't even fucking think they work. So what are you doing? Does this matter to you or not? And if it doesn't, fine. Then just cut the shit. Leave your body alone. Just live your life, eat what you eat, be happy with your body, just move forward. Okay? If you're not really going to deal with it. But if you do really care, if it really is actually important to you, if it really does matter to you, then cut the shit with the dieting. Unless you like wasting time and you love feeling, the pain of failure. People like stuff. So I'm not there judging it, but I'm just saying, if you're serious about mastering your weight, you're going to diet again. You get what you get. What's up, Santina? Santina, the program teaches or makes you aware of your self-hustle. Yes, absolutely. It makes you very aware, because when you again, folks, you tell me, how often do you quiet your mind down, close your eyes, and stay awake? Yeah. When do you do that, by the way? What you tell me, what regular situation do you have where you close your eyes and bring your attention inwards? And I know you're saying never. I never do it. Because when would you have been taught to do it? Prayer is not that. Prayer, you're kind of talking, you're still unaware. I'm talking about closing your eyes, connecting to your body. So you say, am I tight or tense? Oh shit, look at my shoulders. Oh, that feels nice. Oh, a deep breath. That feels nice. I can't take a deep, boy, it's hard for me to take a deep breath. Let's go. Oh, it's I'm tense. Let me relax my shoulders. Oh, that feels good. Let me relax my chest and my stomach. Let me relax my face. Oh, that feels nice. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I've been so stressed and tense, right? It's like, are you doing that ever? So all you do is you get more and more and more tense and tense and tense and tense and tense. And how's that tense version of you gonna lose the weight? That's what I don't understand. So yeah, what Santina says is just, and program yourself in. Every day you're practicing this thing in multitude of ways, and they're comfortable. So every day you get a 5-minute hypnosis session. Can you dedicate 5 minutes in the morning to doing this? It'll change your life. You see, it's not just the hypnosis and the things I'm saying, and that's really powerful, but it's the fact that now all of a sudden, each and every day you're starting. It's like, you brush your teeth every morning. You would never go about your day without brushing your teeth in the morning. Why? It's fucking gross, right? But you go into the day with your big frazzled, tense mind every day. It's unacceptable to me. I want to start each day kind of centered and calm, even if you just do it for a minute. I'm not talking about some crazy thing you're committing to. I'm talking about like a minute. Relax as long as you brush your teeth, 30 seconds. But what would it be to just kind of step into yourself, connect to your body, relax it, connect to your breathing? I mean, every time I do that, I feel so much better. It is just like the gift that keeps on giving, and you're never using it. I don't understand that. I really don't. I do understand, because I know you've never been taught that. I get that, but it's right there for you. It's right there. Cindy says, what was the book you read about the gut biome, Jim? Or can you recommend a book on it? I just read a kind of a book. I didn't love it. Even I don't know. I just saw someone. Oh, I think someone might have read this. I was going through the things. Yes. Okay. Tim Spector, yes, is the author, and he has several books about gut microbiome. Yes, Tim Spector is the author, and I'd got one of his books, and I'm going to blank on him now. I think it was called like The Foods You Should Eat, maybe. And I got that book first and I started reading. I said, oh shit, this is really good. And then he's like, the previous book to this was The Diet Myth. And I said, I'm going to start with that book first, and then I'll go back to this one. So I read The Diet Myth, and it is about the microbiome to some degree. It was good. It was okay. But I think a lot of the book was really about saying why this diet doesn't work. This diet doesn't work. This diet doesn't work. And it just felt, it was good. I learned a lot, but kind of felt like, okay, well, what do I do? And I don't think that was the purpose of the book necessarily. And I think the foods, to eat, I think that was what it's called. That book, I'm about to I'm reading a book called Burn right now, but, and I got a lot of books ahead of me. There's Proteinaholic. I really want to read that too. So I might read that first, but then I'll get to the other Tim Spector book. I think that one's going to be better. Other microbiome books. I haven't read a lot of microbiome books. I took a microbiome course from Coursera that was really good. And that was a couple of years ago. So I might look and see if there's a new one, because the microbiome, it really is a new science. And so it's not a lot about it, but I think the microbiome is really the missing piece for weight mastery. I think once you get a sense of it, and we don't really know everything about it right now, we're just kind of really discovering it to some degree. But the more we understand it, I think that's going to be a crucial part of mastering your weight. I've thought that for a long time. And I think when you put your microbiome at the center of your weight mastery process, I think that it really supports you in a lot of ways in how you think about it. So yes, Tim Spector is the person though. Perry says, sir, you are amazing. Well, thank you. Appreciate you saying that. Rebecca says, so true. I was watching a movie. My probably blood pressure was up. I imagine that says, yeah, it's just, I don't, like you just overlook that, right? Because, I don't know if I could be hypnotized. I don't know if hypnosis works, Jim. I don't know if hypnosis will work on me. And it's like, have you ever watched a horror movie and got nervous? Have you ever watched a sporting event and got excited? I mean, that's hypnosis. Think about that for a second. You're sitting in a room by yourself, potentially, or with other people, whatever. And you're again, lights flickering on a screen and sound waves are hitting your ears. And you're having this dramatic response, like where your body's literally releasing adrenaline. You're not even moving. Nothing's changed in the environment except for this light hitting your eyes and the sound waves hitting your ears. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so common that we don't really think about what's going on there. It doesn't make any sense that you would sit on your sofa in a room and all of a sudden your adrenaline starts going, your blood pressure starts going up. What sense does that make? Think about it. Because then you say, I don't know if hypnosis is real. Well, what do you not know for real is about hypnosis? I don't know if it would have any impact on me. Well, then how do you explain when you watch light on a screen and sound waves hitting your ear that all of a sudden you have emotional reaction to it? That's not real. But you're having an actual literal physical response from it. What's going on? It's your imagination. Your imagination is turning the light waves and sound waves that are hitting your eyes and ears into meaning that's creating a feeling in your body. It's creating a biochemical effect. Think about how crazy that is. That's just one example of it. And that's why they never tell you they goofified hypnosis, because they've used hypnosis to manipulate you. I truly believe this. I believe this 1,000%. I think that hypnosis to me is the most practical psychology that exists, meaning it's not a very complex thing, but it explains how you operate as a human, because you fucking couldn't explain to me how you operate as a human. You make no sense. You're illogical. You think you're logical, and you're not. Because if you were just a pure logical creature, you'd say, I want to lose weight. I know what to do to lose weight. And then you would just do it. You'd be like Mr. Spock. You'd be like a cyborg. But you're not like that, are you? You intend, you know what you should eat and not eat, and then you do what you do because you're an irrational person. You're subconsciously controlled, and you have never in your life learned how to influence your subconscious mind. Yet, every single person who makes TV shows and movies knows exactly how to manipulate your subconscious mind. Every advertiser knows exactly how to influence your subconscious mind. Corporations know exactly how to influence your subconscious mind. They've kept all the good information for themselves and haven't shared it with you. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to show you what they're doing to you, because once you understand it, it's a peek behind the curtain, and now you understand a lot of it, and that changes everything. And then you actually practice manipulating yourself, influencing yourself. Well, watch out. You got access to a whole new ability, but you've never learned this. You're not trying to influence your subconscious mind at all. You're trying to fight against your subconscious mind with your willpower, which is a conscious mind activity. Your willpower is your prefrontal cortex. It's 10% of your brain. The other 90% of your brain is running on autopilot, and you're trying to fight against that 90%. It is never going to work. I would suggest you take that 10% and use it to train your subconscious mind to think differently, to behave differently on autopilot. But maybe that's a crazy idea. I don't know. Maybe it'd make more sense to diet. I don't know. What's up, Julie? Julie says, ordered lunch and had the choice of a cookie or fresh fruit. The fruit is amazing. Have you tasted fresh pineapple lately? Oh my God, this program's magic. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, fresh fruit in general. And again, I'm not surprised that Julie's eating fresh fruit and paying attention to them. Or why? Because in Program Yourself Thin, we're talking a lot about fruit, right? So it's like, that was one of the emails that sent out, what's an unusual fruit you made? So again, what messages are you getting into your subconscious mind regularly? Are they supportive, encouraging ones that make you want to eat healthy food and feel great and amazing, genuinely and naturally? Take care of yourself, live life at the highest level? Or are you constantly getting messages about consuming more shit? Again, your behaviors, your thoughts, your feelings, and ultimately behaviors flow out of the constant messaging you're getting. And you're getting 360 degrees bullshit messaging into your brain that you literally, other than maybe me right now, and maybe a few other random things, you almost get no consistent positive input into your mind. Do you? I know you don't, because where from where? And I'm not even talking about guided meditation or meditation, which is great. I'm talking about literally ideas. How does a thin, healthy person think? You have no clue. So again, Program Yourself Thin is about installing those ideas in your mind in a comfortable, enjoyable way. Because what other choice do you have? You're just magically going to think like a thin, healthy person? Oh, okay, cool. Didn't know that's how it worked. Great. So if we want something, I'm just going to do it. Great. I'm a great piano player. Awesome. I'm a great golfer. I don't even need to practice. I'm just going to be a great golfer starting tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday? No, shit, I'll wait till Monday. I'll be a great golfer on Monday. Why? Why would you be? You could start to be a great golfer on Monday. Like, you could commit to it and then learn and practice how to be a great golfer. But how can I I'm going to be a great golfer because it's Monday and I decide I want to be? People look at you're fucking nuts. But you're going to start your dumb diet on Monday and everyone's going to be, oh, you can do it. Oh, all right. Good for you. No one believes you. You don't believe yourself. You don't believe it's going to work. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to be negative either. I'm not telling you anything you don't already fucking believe. Every time you start a diet, you don't believe it's going to work. You've lost the fucking battle before you've even begun. You've already lost in your mind. You don't believe it. Why would you? You failed the last fucking 100 times on a diet. Why would the 101st time be any different? I don't mean to sound negative, but Jesus Christ, someone give me an answer. Why? Why would the 101st time be different than the first 100? Can someone help me out, please? What do you all think? I know some of you dieters are out there. I'm not gonna make fun of you or anything like that. I want to know, what do you think? Why would the 101st time be different than the 100 if it's no different? Please, someone give me something. I don't even know. I really don't know. Biggest says, hi, Jim. Did you ever get the chance to check out Dr. Renee Stevens' Inside Out Weight Loss? No, I didn't. But I will, I'm literally going to copy and paste that into a tab right now. Whoops. Can I? Renee Stevens. Oh, there it is. Inside Out Weight Loss. I love Inside Out Weight Loss. I say it all the time. That Program Yourself Thin's an Inside Out Weight Loss plan. Cool. Now I'll check her out. See what she got going on. Oh, look at that. Karen says, yeah, check out Pamela Anderson's new cookbook. It's amazing. Yeah, I didn't even know she had one. That's great. I've seen her around a little bit. I know she doesn't wear makeup anymore, or I don't know, a lot less anyways, I guess. But I'm a big supporter of, but I think she looks great. So yeah, I'll check that out. That's awesome. Oh, okay. I love you. Recipes from the Heart is the title. Yeah, that sounds great. I'll check that out for sure. Santina, the 101st time can work with new information and new mindset. Yeah, fair enough. But you gotta do something different though, right? That's what I mean. And it's, yeah, again, I listen, no one honors like resiliency. You know what I mean? Like I love the effort. I applaud that so much with you dieters. Again, I'm not calling you lazy for sure. I think you guys are like the hardest workers there are. But what I am saying is take take one step back further than you normally do so that you can look at all of your weight loss history and start to notice the pattern. There's a pattern there. And it might be different diets even, but the pattern's the same, that you jump into something on Monday, 100%. I'm going to be keto 100%. I'm going to count my points 100%. I'm going to track my calories 100%. I'm going to whatever. I'm going to not eat for 16 hours 100%. And you jump into it and you do it for a little while and then you can't maintain it. And so again, I honor so deeply in you dieters the resilience and the effort and the constant action. But what I'm saying is take one extra step back and realize strategically you're a nightmare because you keep strategically doing the exact same thing. Even if it's different diets, you treat it's always subconsciously, it's always the same thing. I'm gonna change everything and I'm gonna lose the weight. And so I agree with you, Santini. The 101st way, but that's not the 101st way. It's the first way, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about literally how many, I know you're out there. People have started Weight Watchers fucking 40 times, 50 times. It's like that's what I'm talking about. To be honest, I think like every time to me, it's like, I would suggest, you know what? I'm fucking done with weight loss, by the way. I'm never going to do that again. 100 times I've done it. I'm done. I learned 100 times. I got my certificate. I'm an ex-dieter. And now I'm going to become a weight masterer. And now I'm going to walk this path for the rest of my life, each and every day getting better at a different aspect of weight mastery. Holy shit. Catch me in 6 months. Catch me in a year. You're not going to believe it. How far I've come. Catch me in 2 years. Holy shit. How about that attitude? How about you stop approaching weight loss like it's a fucking get rich quick scheme? How about that? How about you just commit to doing the actual work and do it like you did when you went to college, right? I always ask this question. What if weight loss worked like this? What if weight loss magically worked like this? That we had to put the effort in for 4 years. You had to eat better, live healthier, shift your mindset up for 4 years. And then you woke up on the 4th year and you woke up at your goal weight for the rest of your life, right? What if you thought about it that way? And I know that you should think of it that way because that's what you're actually looking for, really. But I think it reveals that what you're doing is you're just winging it with short-term strategies that don't work. It's literally get rich quick schemes. And we all know people that are like that. And it's fucking annoying, right? And it doesn't work. It never works. And neither do the diets, because all the diets are lose weight quick schemes. So, you got to check out Lean and Strong by Josh Hillis. I think it's very much on track you're on. All right. Katie says that, then I believe that's probably good because Katie knows a lot of stuff. Josh Hillis. Yeah, cool. I'm always looking for new people too. I never am, never think I know everything. Yes, the first way. Yes, exactly. What's the best microbiome book? Best microbiome book, I think right now, and again, I'm a little bit, I should have kept up with this a little bit more. I kind of let in the science go. The thing with microbiome, they've known for a long time. You have more cells in your body that are non-human than human, right? Weird. And so most of those are in your gut. And so it's not really us that digest our food, it's our microbiome. We need these microbes, these different bacteria. And so they've known about them for a long time, but it wasn't until we could genetically test them and realize, oh shit, there's all different kinds. And so now they can understand microbiome makeups, because they can genetically test it. And there's different microbiome makeups. And, if you're an unhealthy person, you got one type of microbiome. If you're an overweight person, you got different type of microbiome makeups. And so it's fascinating, but it is relatively new. And so new things like that, you're prone to a lot of bullshit. And so again, maybe 3 years ago, I took a course on the microbiome and very clear. It's kind of like, this is new. Watch out. There's gonna be a bunch of bullshit coming. They don't know what they're talking about. So I almost opted out of the microbiome for a couple of years because I let that pass. And Tim Spector, in my opinion, is very respectable from what I can tell. And he really, again, science-minded person. And so I trust a lot of what he's saying. And so to me, Tim Spector anyways, is one of the first people I've read where it's legit scientific understanding of the microbiome. So any Tim Spector book, The Diet Myth, I thought was decent. I thought it was okay. Maybe you'll love it. I thought it was okay. The foods, I forget the other book he wrote, but you'll find if you look at Tim Spector and foods to eat are the best foods to eat, I think. That one seems a lot more what I'm looking for, So anyways, I can't wait to read that. So that's what I'd recommend is look up Tim Spector. Get rich quick scheme for the companies. Yeah, so true. That's so true. And that's what the diet companies are. Absolutely. The diet companies are get rich quick. They're get rich slow schemes on all you people. They keep, again, profiting off your misery. So I hope that bothers you. Fred Daisy says, great documentary on Netflix about the microbiome called Hack Your Health. Yeah, worth a watch. And he was involved with that, I guess. I believe somehow, I don't think I realized that at the time I watched it, but I think that's the one that he might actually be involved with. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. What's up, Nura? How's it going? Hey, you. Hope you're doing well. This might be a silly question, but what are your hot takes on hunger cues? What, aside from eating slowly, helps tune in more into your body and recognizing them? Yeah, swearing is welcome and encouraged. Okay, so might be a silly question, but what are your takes on hunger cues? What, aside from eating slowly, helps tune in more into your body and recognizing them? Okay, so hunger cues, I think. First off, with the bat here, I think that hunger cues are very interesting because I think in this moment in time, our hunger cues are really two things. There's hunger cues and there's appetite cues. All right. So hunger cues are your body. Your body needs nourishment, right? It needs sustenance. It needs energy, it needs nutrients. That's hunger. Appetite, on the other hand, is really, we've ate enough, but chocolate, chips, cookies, drinks, things that taste good, our appetite. And our appetite is limitless, it seems. Okay. So understanding hunger and appetite, I think, are really important because, again, if you think of hunger as purely a physical thing, like I got to fuel my body. And then we think of appetite as it's almost like a more of an emotional thing that you can eat something and it feels good. It's an enjoyable process. Right. And so I think that's a good starting point. And so once you start making that distinction, I think it informs this hunger question, and I think that for me, I think that the place I noticed this most for myself is when I really went to work on my evening snacking. And as soon as I started thinking about my evening snacking, I came face to face with real hunger and appetite. And because I knew I ate enough during the day, but then I started feeling hungry because, it's nighttime, I usually eat. And so I had enough food, but I'd associated Pavlovian style nighttime sitting watching TV on the sofa with snacking and eating. And so when I first started not snacking and eating, but while I was sitting there, it felt weird. So that wasn't real genuine hunger. That was appetite. I like eating at that time and I wasn't doing it. So that's, again, recognizing that's the first step. But then Neuro says, no, I'm talking really hungry. I'm really talking hunger. Okay. So if you're talking real genuine hunger, we honor our hunger. Okay. So how do you know where you're at with that? I think you're right on the right money. You're right on the track here with eating slowly, eating more mindfully. But I think most importantly is starting to understand yourself more. This is why in the program we structure our eating, because I think a huge part of hunger now is very psychological. You knowing if you ate enough food. So I would please don't just flip by the hunger and appetite thing. No, I'm talking about real hunger, Jim. Well, they're always interrelated. So are you sure? They're always interrelated. And then even hunger, what we think is enough food and what actually is enough food. There's almost always a discrepancy there where what is enough food doesn't feel like it's going to be enough food to our mind. So we think we need a lot more than we actually need. That's a part of hunger as well. So how do we figure all that out? Well, we experiment. We eat a certain amount of food and we relax and we stay calm. It's not just while we're eating. It's not just being mindful while we're eating, slowly paying attention to the food. It's not just that. It's being mindful afterwards and before you eat. What does this feel like in my body? Do I feel hungry? What does this hunger feel like? Again, the first thing you got to do, in my opinion, you got to untangle hunger from appetite, though. So again, please don't just, oh, no, that's not me. It is you. I promise you. There's an aspect of, because the appetite's not just enjoyable food. It's also this psychological component of it. And it's there because we've trained our whole lives to associate emotion to food. It's always there. And so I think the way around that is, you go into your dinner, let's say, and you have some sense of what you're going to eat, and you have some sense of how much you need to eat in order to feel full. Well, at the beginning of the process, I can almost guarantee you that what you think you need to eat is a lot higher than what you actually need to eat to feel satisfied. So you need to understand that. And so you go into it with your sense of, okay, I think I think eating, one helping is, I need two helpings to feel good, and so you go eat two helpings and then notice how you feel. I feel extra full. Maybe one helping would be okay. Great. But we're calibrating that. And then the next time you go into it, and I'm speeding up the process. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than this, but you go in and say, hey, last time I did this, I felt like two was more than enough. Let me experiment with 1.5 servings. Let me see how that feels. And then you eat 1.5. Oh, this is sweet. I feel perfect here. Great. So next time you go into that meal, now like 1.5 tends to satisfy me. So again, that to me is how I do it. I don't know if I'm answering your question. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She's okay. I'll take this advice and workshop it a little. I'll probably come back with more questions. And that's the purpose, Nura. That's the purpose of Program Yourself Thin. It's not me telling you what to do and then you just go run and do it. It's me suggesting what I think is best practices for most people. You go and try and do it, and then you come back with some more information. If you again, in Program Yourself Thin, a core philosophy is that there's no failure, there's only feedback. That's an NLP presupposition. And so if we stop looking at like, oh my God, I was doing so well, and then I ate everything. Well, no, why'd you eat everything? What was going on there? And so we take what's going on and we learn from it. We utilize that information. So instead of saying, oh, well, Jim told me to, use a snow globe before I ate and then that would fix it. No, that's an idea. It's the beginning steps to really figure out what's going on here. So again, you dieters are just used to being told what to do and then you go and do it. But I think in reality, you get an idea, you go use it, and then notice what impact it has on you. How does it make you feel physically, mentally, emotionally? How does it feel? And then we learn and grow from that and optimize it. I think that's the better strategy that guarantees you're going to be successful, ultimately. Sarah says, thank you for helping me lose 21 pounds since May of this year just by listening to your podcast. Once I realized that diets don't work, I actually started losing. Sarah, that's great. Screenshot that. So proud of you. And notice it's so funny you just said that, because I literally was just saying that, wasn't I? Like 40 minutes ago, I was literally saying, please, dieters, take a look. It ain't working. The first step to really mastering is to realize that diets don't work. I mean, again, you're just running full speed east looking for a sunset. Like you're fucked. You're 100 miles off the path and you're nowhere close to it, which isn't as big of a deal, except you don't even realize that. You think you're right on the path doing everything you're supposed to do and not getting results. It's the worst combination. So Sarah, I'm so proud of you. That's a great accomplishment. So yeah, super happy for you. That's wonderful. Yeah. Food for Life. That's what it's called. That's the book by Tim Spector. Karen says, same with bones. People don't realize your bones are alive too and need good nutrition. Yeah, right. Exactly. Katie, yeah, you had some issues with that. All right, everyone. Well, very good. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. This was awesome as usual. You guys are awesome. Thanks for asking your questions. Thanks for listening. If you're not part of my world yet, if you're not on my email list, click the link in my bio, wherever you're at, go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session I give you. It's free. Watch the video. It's free. Read the emails. It's free. Oh shit. I got to get that candy session. Will I get that today? Oh, if I don't get it today, I definitely will get it tomorrow to you all. But I'll make sure I get you the candy sugar session to help you out with Halloween. But make sure you're on my list. That's the only way I can get it to you, right? Is I'll email you the session. But so make sure you're on there. It's all free. And if you don't like it, you can just unsubscribe. It's easy. And then this here is actually a podcast. I record this, put it up on the podcast. Program Yourself Thin's the name of it. It's on all the podcast platforms. Start listening to it. It'll help you out. Listen to this shit regularly. It's going to help you because I'm putting good ideas in your mind, while I speak. And if you want questions, you got questions you want to ask, hop on the lives. They're usually noonish Eastern, Monday through Friday. Hop on here, whatever questions you got. You want to argue how great dieting is with me? I'd love that. I would love that. Please. Yeah, but I'm here for you. So feel free to get on these lives and ask whatever questions. I do whatever I can to help you out. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a super day and we'll talk soon. Bye.